what it is. It is Yo Girl Cadillac. Yes, I'm Cadillac Dixon. I'm the Draw My Life Prison Wife. I'm the legally blind artist that is rapping and painting for justice. Hoping, girl, because you got to hold your breath for justice. To see justice before all face to black. Yes. It's yeah, girl, Cadillac. Anyways, guys, I'm coming through today, January the 20th, 2026. Girl, so I just got off from work. Gotta get to a side hustle, girl, because we work to live and we live to work. We hustle hard until it hurts. We work our fingers down to the bone. And once we pay our bills, ain't got nothing to come home with. Here's your girl Cadillac. But, let me stop that real quick because I don't want that beeping through my thing. I did not I didn't turn the sound down. So let me do that before we be rudely interrupted. Let's see, where we at? Where we at? I don't want to be interrupted while doing this short video because that always happens. Okay, so that the ringer's already off. So we good. We should be, but who knows? um so I was yesterday listening to a video from Mr. Taylor House Publishing about another content creator that I watch heavily, Dr. Rashad Richie from Indisputable. So Taylor House Publishing, this is actually the first time that I ever seen him review a video on another content creator. And he does say why he reviewed this one, right? But I've been all day getting like comments back, because when you comment on another YouTuber's comment, like their comment section, then when people comment to the same comment, it basically keeps giving you notifications. So I'm like, let me just put my 2 cents in, since it's gonna just keep notifying me. Ain't notifying me of no activity on my page. My channel is like flatline, but since it keeps notifying me about this, I might as well chime in. First, I love Taylor House Publishing's response, that he says that he does not get into that type of stuff, though it could be trending. It could give him far more views. I'm glad that he has integrity. When you are a content creator and you're not in content creation just for the sake of creating content that will just get views, which in turn will get you paid. So when you're not just in it for the money, which so many content creators actually are in it for the money. Yes, the goal for almost every content creator is to get monetized, right? But you want to get monetized and still be able to make a difference in this world. What would be, for me, there's no purpose in being monetized, but yet I can't make a difference. I can't say anything that is, that doesn't just go with the flow of how everything is. And if nobody goes against the flow, things stay the way they are. But they don't even stay the way they are. They get worse over time. So yes, you're getting paid, you lining your pockets, but you are not making this world better for your children and your generations to come, and for my children and my generations to come. You're not bettering us. You're only bettering just yourself. And humans are communities. We're affected by what happens in the community, right? But we tend to, because this world leads you that way, to allegedly only care for self, fill your pockets to the brim, and don't worry about how the world is when you leave, right? I'm just not that type of content creator, which is also a reason as to why I'm no ways monetized after being on YouTube for 10 years plus. But shout out to Mr. Taylor House Publishing, who is monetized, who does have a large community. And once you start getting eyeballs on you, the first thing you want to do is scale, right? And that's where a lot of content creators pivot, or even artists, or whoever, activists, whoever you are. When you start getting those views, when you start getting the eyeballs on your content, and you're not just talking to crickets or cicadas like myself, that's when the true test of your character comes in. Are you going to stay where, like, making the content that makes a difference, or are you just going to see how, oh, we could get this, scale this monetization, right? And shout out to Mr. Taylor House. And then it was another part that he said in that video where he said that his cousin, he became acquainted with Mr. Rashad Richie because his cousin was like, look, you need to be more like him. And I'm like, ain't that what a cousin would say? That is exactly how we are. Our people, we do that. Not, and when I say that, don't say, but not all, but a great majority, to make a brushing stroke assumption, right? This is just the overall generalized group judgment, right? Because that's how we're judged. We're judged as a group. We're never judged as the best of us. We're always judged and group judged together to the lowest common denominator of our people, right? So I'm going to make a brush judgment, right? So when there is somebody in our community that tries to make change, that tries to do anything to fix certain situations that are going on in our communities, to just bring us up, to pull us up by our bootstraps, like they want us to do so bad, that every time we do, they cut them bootstraps. So they really don't want us to, allegedly, but they say, stop complaining, just pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Just get a job, just stop, But when we do that, our families and our communities tend to not support us. That's crazy. You tell me to do the right thing. You tell me that change can only come if you change what you're doing. If the generations, how it's going back and forth, where the older blame the young generation, the younger blame the older generation. But when does it stop? And when do we kind of just go from there, recuperate, cut our losses, and from this point try to move in different directions, right? But overall, I think they know that we're not going to do that. Not as a group. It's always going to be those individuals. And you can take out, allegedly, individuals, right? But groups having different mind shifts and changes, baby, allegedly, you ain't finna be able to affect that when a whole group of people. But what I have noticed from being a older now content creator, artist, activist, what I've learned from, I was doing this when I was young, and nobody supported me. Very few. That's why I equate it to nobody, because out of so many people that I've come across, so many people that I've been in their lives, they've seen me, they've seen what I've done. So out of the vast majority, only a small few supported me and my movement, Project Reach the World, bringing attention to wrongful convictions and injustice in the courtrooms, right? That tend to affect our people way more than others. And it's not because we're just more violent, like they want you to allegedly believe, so that you put the stamp of, okay, that's why they were wrongfully convicted. Okay, that's why they were wrongfully deleted. Okay, that's why that injustice happened to them. So when you do go out there and do it, your community do not support you. So I was thinking that what I heard a lot from my family. He was saying like how his cousin was like, look, dude, this how I learned about Dr. Rashad Richie. My cousin said you need to be more like him. Rather than his cousin watching him and congratulating him on what he's doing. Because I wouldn't want Mr. Taylor House Publishing to act like Mr. or Dr. Rashad Richie. I like Dr. Rashad Richie. He brings to the table, and Taylor House Publishing, exactly the way he is, brings to the table. I wouldn't want either to act like the other. And that is what we need to stop doing. People have their own, God made us all different with different strengths and different weaknesses. It is best to operate in your strength and bring to the table your strength and not try to be like the next, right? Do what you excel in. So I was like, dang, that sounds like something my family would have told me, which they did tell me. Keita, your content, why don't you just be like this person? Or even when I was rapping, why don't you rap more like this person? Or why don't you, girl, why don't you just support me the way that I am? Each person's going to get better each time they upload, but just support them. They're trying to make change. They're doing something positive, right? So I wanted to touch on that. So now get to the topic, the whole topic of why Mr. Taylor House Publishing made this video reviewing, which I didn't even know this until, it crossed my algorithm because I watch him heavily, that people are basically trying to discredit Dr. Rashad Richie, saying allegedly that he's making up all these accolades, all these degrees, all these titles. He's just making them up, fabricating paperwork to make it look as though he has these credentials, right? And I thought about it. I'm like, who the jail cares? Of course, I guess allegedly, most likely that would be against the law, right? But besides that, which is a whole different topic, whether it's lawful or not, he's doing work in the community that needs to be done. Why are we going back and asking him to prove his credentials? Like, first, how often do we actually ask people to prove their credentials? Like I told y'all, I'm a graphic designer. I got my graphic design degree. Never once has anybody said, you be sitting up there with uniform, but yet you say you a graphic designer and you say you a cosmetologist. Let me see your paperwork. Don't nobody ask me that. They just take my word. I went to cosmetology school. I went to graphic design school. And I have shared with you a lot of things that could point to that I have these degrees, or it doesn't. Because what I learned is a lot of times it's the hands-on experience that is worth more than those degrees. Because there are people that carry these degrees, but they're not as skilled as those that don't have degrees. So at one point did we say, oh, he's bringing all these stories to light. He's shedding light on injustice. I've never seen nobody cover as many wrongful conviction cases as Indisputable. And Cadillac, your girl Cadillac. First, I think it would be me because that's all I talks about, girl. But if he's talking about wrongful convictions, And people are trying to gaslight the whole world allegedly that this does not happen. And if you're incarcerated, you deserve it. You stop doing it. They place the blame on you, right? But if he's actually like, no, 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 hold on. Here's this story. I'm breaking this story here where this person was wrongfully arrested. I'm breaking this story over here. Look, this happened in this state, a whole nother state, but they continually doing it in this country and abroad, basically. But he's breaking a lot of stories of wrongful convictions. He has the platform, he has the audience, and I mean, I really don't care about them credentials. I want to see the stories. I want to see these people get home. I'm sure those that are wrongfully incarcerated would not care if the person had a degree or not. They want to get home. They want their story heard. I want my husband's story heard. I just done gave up, I done gave up that hope of that. But I mean, I wouldn't care if he came today, if Dr. Rashad Richie said, this is Dr. Rashad Richie from Indisputable and Cadillac. I want to help you after your 20 years of trying to free your husband from his wrongful conviction. I want to use my platform to help you break the story of your husband. We want to do a story on Marcello Jackson, who has been wrongfully incarcerated for the last 24 years almost. Would I say, run me your credentials? Oh, I heard that you ain't really got them type of degrees that they say you got. I would not give a damn. And what I've learned is that people that are doing the most for people that have been done unjustly are those that don't have credentials. Those with credentials, they go to their head. Those with those that lawyers and stuff like that. Lawyers, to me, I don't even hardly respect half of them. You know why? Because they care more about money than helping. At some point, did you get into this profession to actually help people that have been done unjustly, like a criminal defense lawyer? Did you really get into it to actually defend people that are brought up on charges? Or did you get into it because it's a way to make a lot of money? Because criminal defense lawyers are some of the highest paid lawyers. Because when your life hangs in the balance, they use that as leverage. I have dealt with an attorney that did no fight for my husband. There's no way you could have lost this easy case, but yet you lost it. You purposely fumbled it. You fumbled it on purpose. Right? Because it's more of a socializing thing that the cases are basically on, like who knows who, or give me that one for that one, or they don't care about guilt or innocence. So he got all these degrees. This man got all these degrees. He was actually a paid lawyer, but he was brought in because they botched Marcello. Marcello was railroaded from the beginning to end. And I think that's why it's so symbolic that Marcello was wrongfully arrested by the railroad track. It was saying that, look, he's going to be railroaded from beginning to end, right? He has all them credentials. And he told us he won that case where there was blood here, blood everywhere. But yet you lost a case with no tangible evidence, right? You got credentials, but yet you did nothing for true justice, and you did not help us. Then I had another lawyer that I finally get up the money, and they were saying that, yes, we could try to get this statement so it could be newly discovered evidence. That's all we need to get Marcello back into court. And they took my money and have done nothing. Nothing. Didn't even get the statement. He has credentials. You can Google him. He has whatever, what is it, Esquire that they put on their name? He has that. He probably has a list of won cases that he won. But what did he do for justice? The credentials really, when you cut it back and you weigh it on the scale of, is it really helping our people? Credentials are not going to matter. They don't. Because most with credentials want money for those credentials. Who is really in it for justice? I can say Taylor House Publishing. He's done a lot more than a lawyer could do. He even won his own case, his own wrongful conviction case. He didn't have the credentials. But does it matter? He's free. Matter of fact, he probably got himself free more than a person with credentials would have got him free. He probably would have been up the road with Marcello. Right? I did more in my husband's case. I broke more in my husband's case. I did more investigative work in my husband's case than lawyers that have these degrees in law and these acronyms or letters behind their names and their titles. I've done more. And I've actually helped, because it seems like I can't help my husband, but I've helped others that are wrongfully incarcerated. Information I gave my husband got another guy back into court. I have no credentials like that. So what I'm basically saying, at the end of the day, at the beginning of the day and the end of the day, who gives a damn? I think that is something. He's doing too much good. And when you're doing too much good in the community, they have to try to take you down. And allegedly, they're going to use us, run you a little bit of change, run you a few views, and they're going to use us to take you down. Allegedly. We got to stop falling for that. I wouldn't give a darn if he really had all those credentials or if he didn't. You're actually giving people justice. And that's all that matters to me. All right, guys. It's your girl Cadillac.